Red Sox finish off the set there against Texas with a 5-0 win, and that was the matinee yesterday. Where are they tonight, John?
Kansas City. Kansas City.
All right. We're going to get to a lot more of this later, but Rafael Devers was asked about, maybe playing first base. Casas done. We need a first baseman. There's so much of this to get to. We'll get to more of it later, but here's just a little sampling of what Devers had to say through his translator. You'll hear the translator speaking.
Yeah, it was the GM that I spoke with. I'm not certain what he has with me. He played ball, and I would like to think that he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy.
What changed over the last week? Because everyone's asking Red Sox management, have you spoken to Devers? Are you going to talk to Devers? And everyone emphatically, including Alex Cora, said no. And that didn't make any sense. But apparently within the last week, they did approach him about it, which is good for the team because that's exactly what you should have done.
And he can't even wrap his head around why they would even ask.
Yeah, no, they had the conversation with me. I don't think me personally it's the best decision after, they asked me to play a different position and I'd only have 2 months playing this position to all of a sudden have me try to play another position. From my end, it doesn't seem like a good decision.
Yeah. Getting paid $300 million to not field. We'd actually like you to have a full-time job.
If you want to get into it here, okay, so you're the biggest star on the team. You show up to camp, and they go, guess what? We signed a free agent that's playing your position. Now you got to go to a DH. And you don't want to do it, and the media and everyone gives you a bunch of S for it, and then you go, fine, I'll do it. And you struggle at the beginning of the year, and everyone says that you're the horrible human being. And then you kind of turn it around, and you're having an okay year. Not great, but okay. And then they go, oh, by the way, we're 4 weeks into the season. Go switch positions again. How about go screw? No, it's ridiculous. You're putting this guy. They're moving him around like he's Jose Akendo.
Circumstances have changed, Fred.
Yeah, but John, you can't just ask a guy, oh, by the way, we expect you to hit 280 with 30 home runs, and we're going to move you around a bunch of times during the season. You can't, do you want me to play first base? No, I don't want to play first base. You didn't give me spring training to learn first base.
No one says he has to go play first base tomorrow, but
John, that's the conversation. It's not next year.
No, I understand that, but I think there'd be a ramping up process. He's going to take some grounders there, see if he can do it or can't do it. My point is, this team is expected to win this year. This team is expected to go to the playoffs bare minimum, and
then you should have Then you should have signed the first baseman instead of a third baseman.
But here's where we are. We've said this before. This first base is a gigantic hole in this organization. It was Casas and nobody else. This team isn't going to go anywhere with Abraham Toro and Romy Gonzalez and a platoon at first base.
Okay, all right. So you take he's a good defensive third baseman, but you're just going to have to play along. You take Arenado. Now you take Arenado and you go, okay, we're going to put Nolan Arenado, who's probably a Hall of Fame third baseman, but let's just say they're offensively similar in their primes. Arenado's better, but just for the sake of argument, and forget his defensive acumen at third, okay? He's a third baseman that came off the top of my head that's good. So do you think if you went to Arenado 10 years ago, because now we do it, but if you went to Arenado, because he's old and he sucked last year, but if you went to Arenado during his prime and you came in and you said, look, the NL just made a DH, we want you to DH. Do you think he'd have a problem with that?
Yes.
Okay. So he goes and does it. This is another team, not the Red Sox. And he goes and does it. And then 5 weeks later, they go, oh, by the way, now go play first. Do you think he'd have a problem with it?
Probably.
Yeah.
But the defensive acumen factors into this argument.
Okay, but
Devers is not a good fielding third baseman. They specifically signed Bregman to get better at that position.
Then find a good offensive third baseman off the top of your head that's not good at defense. I'm just trying to give you an example. I
don't think it matches up completely. I think
all right, then find a good offensive third baseman that's not a good defensive player in the history of baseball. Just give me someone. Just anyone off the top of your head.
Mike Schmidt.
Okay,
there you go.
Mike Schmidt. He wasn't a good third baseman? Okay, fair enough. If in your mind he wasn't, then I believe you. I don't know if he was a good third baseman or not. So they go to Mike Schmidt, and they go, hey, NL's got the DH, go be the DH. And he goes, I don't want to. Do you think he would say, I don't want to?
Probably.
Okay. Do you think it would be a big uproar in Philadelphia? Whose side do you think, let's do this. Whose side do you think the fans would have taken?
Depends on how good the team is.
Oh, they would have taken Mike Schmidt's side in that. And then say, even if they did it, if Mike Schmidt says, I don't want to be DH, but then he begrudgingly becomes DH, then 5 weeks later you go, hey, Mike Schmidt, go learn first base and play first base. You think he'd be cool with that?
Probably not.
Okay.
But it's
so all I'm saying is that anybody wouldn't be. He's not a utility player. He's a guy that you've already, in his mind, humiliated. And now you're asking him, because a far inferior player got hurt, for him to go turn around and learn first base. You're paying him to hit. You've made that very obvious. You didn't value him at third base, and that's probably correct. But now you sign a third baseman in free agency. You move him. He has to now adjust to being a DH. And then a jabroni you got playing first gets hurt, which really is a jabroni.
He is. I'm not arguing that.
And now it really doesn't matter to the argument anyway. But now you're asking him to move again. All I'm saying is that I can't think of a star in baseball, and not because they're even egotistical and not team first, that would be like, dude, no, stop moving me around. I can't, you can't ask me to keep doing this. You're asking me to hit. And now I got to do all this other crap on top of hitting during the season?
I understand that argument, but what I'm saying is this move, putting him at first, is what is best for a team where expectations are high.
He could argue that it's not best for the team because you want me to be your best hitter, and I can't do that if I'm learning a new position. He could make that argument. That's all I'm saying. So all I'm saying is I get where Devers is coming from. And in a perfect world, everyone on every team would go, whatever you need, coach, I'm there. But I'm not positive Cora wants him playing first. Cora might look at this lineup and go, I don't want him learning first. I need Devers hitting. We can't win unless he's hitting. And maybe Cora feels it, because there's some reason Cora didn't tell him. Because Cora probably went, I'm not doing it again. Baseball's a weird thing, man. You can't screw with it. It's very perilous mentally.
We're going to do this more later, but some of the things that you said about, why don't they sign somebody? Devers asked the same thing through his translator. He also, talked about this whole hard-headedness that he's been accused of. And also, that's fine, but you tell me to put my glove away in spring training, and then now not only does the glove back on, but you got me changing positions, and we're not even in the middle of May.
Another thing moving Devers to first base does for you is it doesn't shoehorn you into needing to go get a first base.
I understand why the team wants him to play first base, but you have to understand why Cora and Devers might not be totally on board with it. That's all I'm saying, because everyone is going to have your opinion, and I understand that. I just see his point, and I might be the only person that does on this station.
No, I do.
But you're not on the air.
I know.
Adam.
I'm very passionate about it as well.
Adam, you're not on the air.
Yeah,
I am now technically.
Well, technically, yes. I'm talking about
See if you can insert a 30-second editorial into Bloomberg Radio, and that way,
or on the HD channel.
Bloomberg Sports Blast with Adam 12.
Get your point across.
Adam is so passionate. He needed to say that there's not. But maybe someone will. But look, I get it, and nothing you're saying is wrong. From a team perspective, it obviously makes sense. But if I'm Devers, I'm not happy with the team at all. I really wouldn't be. It's like rah great, but they're not doing it to Meyer. They're not going to go, hey, Meyer, or to Anthony. They're not doing it to two kids. Mm-hmm. They're not going, go learn first base. So Devers is probably like, dude, you got these two kids that are playing in Worcester where the games don't mean anything. Have them learn first base. Why do I got to move to first base? These guys haven't taken a major league at bat. I mean, if you think about it that way, he's got to be out of his mind. You got these two kids that you can't wait to bring up, but you're not bringing them up because you don't want to move their positions. I mean, Anthony, I know, is a little more flexible, but you don't want them. You certainly don't want to waste Meyer at first.
Correct.
And I get that, but you got to understand his perspective on things, because I just know everyone's going to crap all over him. And I know if I was listening from that organization, I would be like a little frustrated or if I was Devers and I was listening to it, I'd be a little frustrated. I'd be like, dude, you got to think of my position a little bit, but whatever.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.